Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank both of you for being here. Generals, appreciate your service, Admiral and General. I'm going to start with you, Admiral, because early on in response to a question from Senator Inhofe, you had cited the fact that you only get 1% of the ISR. And that was fairly stunning to me, especially since the Air Force has been trying to retire the RQ-4s and cut the production of the MQ-9s, two systems that we're very familiar with in North Dakota, of course. They're operated quite effectively out of our state, one by the Air Force in Grand Forks, the other by our Guard in Fargo. And one of the reasons that they use for wanting to cut production or retire, and realizing some of it's they want to save money for new systems, and that's noble, and we need to make some tough decisions about that. But one of the reasons they use is that these platforms aren't survivable in near-peer competition. So my question to you, Admiral, is could you use RQ-4s and MQ-9s in your theater, and is there a significant threat to the survival of these platforms at SOUTHCOM?
Well, as you mentioned, Senator, we received less than 1% of the DoD ISR, and it's a prioritization, and there's global challenges, and I recognize how that plays out. This is a good environment in SOUTHCOM for unmanned. We have had, for the first time ever, an MQ-9 through the past year, and we have Customs and Border Protection MQ-9 as well. And they've proven their utility because they can stay on station for a long time and stare at the threats. They can also learn in general about the environment beyond the transnational criminal organization threats. So we have the understanding that we need to ensure that we're appropriately postured moving forward.
Thank you, Admiral. General, thank you for our discussion last week. I enjoyed it very much, found it very interesting, learned a lot, as is often the case. And one of the things that you and I talked about, of course, was the fact that NORTHCOM participated with the Air Force Research Laboratory in an over-the-horizon study that included some testing at Camp Grafton, North Dakota, our National Guard camp, as part of the OSD Coalition Warfare Program-funded Arctic HF surveillance program. And we were told, of course, that the results exceeded expectations. My question to you is, do you still see the need for an over-the-horizon radar system and capability, and do you expect further, more advanced testing anytime soon?
Senator, my focus and top priority is domain awareness, and over-the-horizon radar would certainly contribute to domain awareness. My understanding is right now, with regards to the test that you're talking about, the current Northern Strategic Approaches study is with the Air Force. We're waiting for that to come out. I talked to General Brown on Friday about that. Once that report comes out, we'll be in a better position to see on the way forward with the research lab or however we're going to pursue that. But domain awareness is at the top of my integrated priority list.
Thank you for that, and thanks for that answer, and thanks for following up with General Brown. One other question for you, General Van Herk. There's a lot less military presence between Michigan and Montana in the northern, obviously along the northern border than there used to be during the Cold War, even though, I mean, one could argue that there are more threats in the Arctic and from missiles coming over the Arctic even than there were during the Cold War. If there was a threat coming over the pole through Saskatchewan, say, do you have enough fighters, tankers, missile warning, missile defense systems to meet that threat?
Senator, day to day, I'm confident in my ability to defend against the threat that we have. Day to day, I'm postured primarily against a 9/11 type of response. If indications and warning or a crisis evolved, I would go ahead and ask for additional forces. At that time, if I was allocated additional forces or not, I'd have to make a broader assessment in my ability to defend.
Well, and as you mentioned, obviously, domain awareness is the critical aspect to being prepared. Is the radar coverage for that area modern enough to track any threat reliably, do you believe?
Senator, I remain concerned about domain awareness in the north with the legacy North Warning System. If we apply capabilities such as Pathfinder, that'll increase my capability, but more broadly, we need to get after it with more modern systems not designed to go after a stovepipe, single domain, single threat. We need systems capable of going after everything from small counter UAS to ballistic missiles that are able to be efficient and effective.
Excellent, thank you. You're both awesome. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.